And then that inspires people to come back, but then they become engaged in that culture and in that community. And then they buy the clothes, and then they speak the language, right? And then they're very biased against all other things.
My question is regarding communication with clients. Uh, one of the things I love about the way that you think and the way that we're all starting to think is that there's so much more complexity to this whole exercise and movement thing than most people appreciate.
Yeah.
And that complexity is obviously so important for us as coaches to acknowledge, right? And to be able to sort of grasp in any given moment. But with clients, I noticed when I started to get all of this going on in my head, I would catch myself being very long-winded, or I would just say too many things, and like the hip and the shoulder, blah blah blah. And so I think I've been doing well to sort of try to boil it down much more simply with clients. But I was wondering if you could speak to maybe the way that you approach that, and sort of your thought process for simplifying what we're trying to do with the clients. I have a lot of clients who do like the explanation. They do like the understanding of exactly why the session is the way it is. And I don't want to confuse anyone. I want it to be as simple as it can be, as straightforward as possible.
Well, you want everything to be meaningful to them, right? But they don't need to know what you know. So that would be step one. When we learn something, we get really proud of ourselves, and sometimes we just want to tell the whole world how smart we are, right? And your client doesn't really care how smart you are. They care about themselves. They're there for themselves, right? They appreciate you, don't get me wrong, but again, they don't need to know the depth that you're thinking. They just need to know that there's something meaningful here for them. So maybe when I say meaningful, maybe it's to get them to sense something so that they know they're being successful. They want to know how this is going to be beneficial for them. And again, that they can internalize that, and they go, okay, Andrew wants me to box squat this certain way because if I do it this way, there's going to be a benefit beyond, just whatever I think that there is. There's another reason for me to do this really, really well. And then you get a lot of placebo out of this too, where the client is doing things for you, right? Because they don't want to let you down, and they want you to be proud of them, right? So when you're explaining things, obviously you just want to simplify, and that comes from establishing rapport and understanding what is meaningful to them. So when you have that first conversation with a client, and you're trying to figure out, it's like, why are you here? And everybody says, well, I want to get in shape.
Yeah.
Right. And that's meaningless. Like, what does that mean? What shape do you want to be? Do you want to be a triangle, or do you want to be a rhombus? Right. So they have this picture in their head of what they want the outcome to be. And it's your job to figure that out. And as you do that, and it's a process, don't think that you're going to get it on the first try. As you do that, though, that's going to allow you to communicate with this person on their level. So we always say, meet them at their story. So they have a story that they bring to you. They have an understanding that they bring to you. And it's your job to communicate within that framework for them to make it meaningful.
Right.
But, for one person, you might go, all right, so we're going to box squat today. I want you to do a touch and go because I want and again, this is a very specific person. I want your pelvic floor to be as strong as possible. Now, I would never use that phrasing in this context of talking about that, because I think that word is kind of meaningless under most circumstances, right?
Right.
When I say strong, the word strong,
yeah.
Right? But for them, they have a picture in their head of what strong is. And then they associate that. They also say that with a benefit, right? So if you have a woman that says, I want to get down on the floor with my kids. And every time I get up, it's like, I have to make this grunty noise and you go, okay, I think I have the solution here. And then, so you say, all right, so when you touch and go off this box and you feel that pressure and you push through it, this is you getting up off the floor. This is going to reinforce that. This is going to make that easier. I have now made that connection with that individual.
Right.
Right. I've given them something that is truly meaningful. Now, do you think their efforts are going to improve? Right.
Of course.
And then if they recognize the benefit of that, and then you give them cues and you go, that was really good. Here's what I want you to do next time. Now they've got information that is useful to them, that is meaningful to them. And now that session goes a whole lot better. And you score points. Right. Even though you don't understand that, that your clients do keep score.
That's a really helpful reminder. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, the idea is making it meaningful for them. It's not about you telling them how smart you are.
Right.
We know you're smart. It's okay. What you need to do is make sure that they understand that you are there for them. And the only way to do that is to speak in their language and to, like I said, meet them at their story. That's where you spend your time. Now, the cool thing about this, if you meet them at their story, you can then bring them towards yours. Okay. So over time, where's Monica? Monica probably knows this. So Monica's been in IFAS a long time, and she hears what the clients start talking about. And they start talking about the same things that we talk about. And they actually do exceptionally well. They actually gain a great deal of understanding. And then they start asking the right questions. That, again, it's just the atmosphere that sort of evolves everyone's thinking, but everybody has the story that whatever they have, some people study Dr. Google and they come in and they say, what about this? And what about this? What about this? And then we just show them the relationships and then we bring them towards us.
Right.
And then that's how you establish, that's how you create the community. And then you have the clients that talk to each other and they go, oh, you got to do that too. Oh, I hated when I had to do that. And they're saying that in the nicest possible way. But, everybody has that little commonality. Go, oh, I used to do that one a long time ago, and now I do this, right? And so again, you're literally creating a culture, right? And that's ultimately what people want, right? Yes, they want some sort of result, but they also want to be part of the group, right? Everybody wants to be one of the cool kids, right?
That's a really powerful point. Just kind of the thought process that if I want people that I work with to think like I do, start out by thinking like they do, and then it'll slowly maybe start to approximate rather than the other way, where it's like you're trying to you're trying to impose your way of thinking on them. I think it's a really useful reminder for me.
Well, so, in as much as we can knock certain exercise systems that have become prolific to where they have now turned exercise into a competition. You know what I'm talking about?
Like
I'm not going to mention it by name.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. But so that is what I'm talking, like, that's the extreme representation of what I'm talking about. It's like there's a very specific culture within that exercise regime, right? Where it's no longer about progress and the specific outcome of the fitness itself. It's about, did you finish such and such workout, right? Like they made the workout a competition, and then that inspires people to come back, but then they become engaged in that culture and in that community. And then they buy the clothes, and then they speak the language, right? And then they're very biased against all other things.
Right.
You can hope for that, because then, but that's what drives the successful business, right? You create a culture that is attractive to a certain group of people, right?
Right. And so then, I guess,
and then your marketing is done for you.